Hello guys, my name's Imran. I'm a second year architecture student at Portsmouth University, and today I'm going to be showing you the process I used to create this sitemap. Hope you guys enjoy. If you have any questions, please let me know and enjoy the video. Okay, so here we are in Photoshop. I'm using Adobe CC, but you can use whatever version you want. I've got a blank A3 document and I've got it landscape. Now, you're going to need to choose your map software. I'm using Digimaps just because it's provided by my university, and I've created a Digimap file of the area I want to do a site analysis of, and this is A2 and I've done it in scale 1 to 5000. I've done this A2 because I want it to fill the entire A3 page, and as you can see I will drag it over. Okay, so now we have our image in Photoshop. Remember, since this is to scale, we want the scale bar to remain the same, so do not change any sizes. We can't resize this, all we can do is move it. So I'm going to choose the area I want to do my site analysis of, and I think this is good. Now, the next thing we need to look for is a color palette, so you can choose however you want to do this. I like looking at Pinterest and Instagram for inspiration, but I would recommend Adobe Color. Now, on Adobe Color, you can search whatever you want, and it's got a load of harmonious colors that you can use for whatever you want. Okay, so now you've picked your colors. These are the three I've chosen. The main thing we're going to use is something called Select Color Range, and you want to make sure your map has got different colors for different elements. You don't want any, for example, you don't want the roads and the houses to be the same color, because this will mess up the way I'm going to show you. Now, advice for everyone on Photoshop: make sure your layers stay clear, keep renaming them, and put stuff in groups so you don't get mixed up. Now I'm going to make a new layer. This first, I'm going to start with the sea and any water, so I'm going to call this water, and if I go back to my map, we're going to use select, we're going to go to color range, and everything will go black. You can change your selection preview, so white mask, or you can do nothing and you'll see your image. You want to make sure you're selected on this color picker tool, and I'm going to just select the blue. Now, if I go back to the preview, you can see everything it's selected. Unfortunately, Digimaps has this text over it, but we'll deal with that later. And you just want to make sure that all of the blue in your image is selected nicely. So in here, I'm just going to hit OK. And now, when I go to my water layer, I'm going to go I, color picker, for this, and then I'm going to hit Alt Delete. Now that will fill with my foreground color. A few shortcuts I like to use: you can hit X, which will switch your foreground and background, and you can hit D, which will reset it to black and white. So now we have this. I would recommend using this color picker for stuff like the houses. However, because this is a large blue area, we can probably use the magic wand tool on here, and it should get rid of the Digimaps. If I hit my wand tool, as you can see, it's not selected the D text just because it's so faint. If yours isn't, you can check your tolerance. So 1 means that it's very sensitive, and 100 means it's not very sensitive. So I keep mine roughly 10, but you'll change this based on what you're doing. And then hit the shift key, and this will add to your selection. And I'm just going to select this and go back to my water layer and fill it in again. So we've avoided that without doing too much work. Now what you're going to go do is you're going to pick your grass, your background, and your beach, and you're going to do the same for each color. Okay, so we're back. I've done this for all the colors. Now we're going to go and address the houses. If I turn off my map, you can see all my individual colors. I've got my gray background, the grass, the sand, and the water. Now I don't need my palette anymore, so I'm going to delete my color palette and put the map back. So to select these houses, we're going to do the exact same thing, and we're going to go select color range. So we go select and color range. Now I'm going to pick one of the houses this time, and you'll see if I go on preview, black matte, it should select all the trees, the houses, sorry. So as you can see, there's some artifacts. Now what you can do is you can turn the fuzziness up, which will allow more in the selection, and you can turn it down, which will make it tighter. Now if you have these tiny little spots, you can do this, which will take away colors from the selection, but I don't think it's really necessary because this isn't going to be looked at super close up. Now I'm going to make a new layer and we're going to call this one houses. And I'm just going to fill this one with white, so I'll go Alt Delete. Now, if we turn off the map and turn on all our other colours, this is what we've got so far. A little simple trick I like to do with my houses, because they look quite flat, is I just duplicate the layer and I'm going to double click on it, which goes into layer properties, and I'm going to select color overlay. Now I'm going to make it a dark grey or black, and I'm going to put it below the white, and I'm just going to hit the V, which is the move tool. I'm just going to move it slightly down and to the left. You can see it's added a nice little shadow. Now again, we have the artifact of the Digimaps left, but because mine's quite simple, I can again go to my map, and if I go W for one tool and select the background, because of the fuzziness, it actually doesn't select the lines. So if I go back to my grey background, I'll use the colour picker to make sure I've got that colour, and I'm going to fill it, and pretty much all of the text is gone. If we hide the map, this is what we're looking like. I think it's already getting there. Looks a lot better than our initial map. And now we're going to do the final bit, which is the roads. So we're going to do one last colour range, and we're going to select the yellow road. Okay, and there we go. I'm going to make a new layer called A road, or just main road. And I'm also going to fill that, let's just pick a dark grey. Okay. And now a little trick I like to use is Control D, that will deselect, so it will get rid of any selection you have without affecting your layer. If we turn all our other layers back on, I think we're looking pretty good. Now, to get rid of these other artifacts, if you're unable to use the one tool trick like I used, I'll just go on my grass layer, hit I tool, select it, and then we're going to hit B, which will put our brush on, and we're just going to manually draw these in. Now that is the main work done. The rest is literally just small details. I would recommend getting brush packs. You can just search free brushes. There's websites like Brusheezy and other ones that allow you to get free brushes, and I have here some tree brushes that I like to use that just make some nice trees, and I add some details, and I use some texture brushes to fill in the water. I'm going to show you how I do that now. So I like to use layer mask a lot because they're non-destructive, meaning they're easily reversible. So if we go on our water layer, for example, I'm going to make a new layer. Now you're going to hit Control or Command and click on the image here. This will select everything in the image. We have this here, and now if we hit this button right here, it will do layer mask. What a layer mask is it's almost like a stencil. So whatever is on this layer, it only shows through. Actually, I'll use a different color just to show it better. Whatever's on this layer, it will only show up. So my pen is still on this layer, but it will only show up in the areas I've done this. Now, a great thing we can do with this is I have some textured brushes, if I can find them. So here's my textured brush. I'm just gonna add some textures in the water. Now you can turn your opacity of your brush down or change some other things, but I like this. Obviously you'll spend a lot more time on it, and then one thing I like to do is I like to turn the opacity down, and then you can play with the blend modes. Now these affect how the colours in the different layers interact. You can test these, but I have a few favourites. I like to use stuff like soft light, and then I personally like to add another layer, and I will erase whatever's on this layer. And then I can do some more, and it will give a nice texture, and you can just play about with the opacity, and it adds some more interesting details to it. Now that is the main body of my tutorial. If you have any questions, please let me know. Just quickly before we go, I'm going to show you what I've been working on, and this is for a university project for a nursery we're designing. Here is what I've currently done. As you can see, I've used all the brushes in this sand, and I've chosen a different palette. I've just used the brush tool with some colours to identify which areas are industrial and residential, and I've taken the scale bar from the bottom. Hopefully this guide inspires you. If you have any questions, please let me know. Yeah, thanks for watching.